fact, we only hear about one Holocaust. So the legislation, I cannot, in a sense, start by mentioning legislation unless I mention apartheid. I cannot possibly deal with what we've got in the UK without dealing with colonialism, because it was a natural progression. You cannot have racism and colonialism without racial superiority. You cannot have it without white supremacy. You cannot have it without having an ideology which you take from the colonies and bring to the UK. And many of the judges, some of them that were in the judiciary, had done their training in Nigeria, in the Commonwealth, so-called, in the Empire. So they brought all their baggage of racism and discrimination with them. They didn't leave it. It was brought intact. So the classification, IC 2, 3, 4, that was what was used in the Caribbean, all over the colonies. And it was about money and power and control. So stepping back from the legislation is, how do we as Europeans, European nation states, empower ourselves? We take all your stuff. We give you our laws, we give you our religion, and if you take a trip to the British Museum, you know the Africa section's downstairs in the basement. Surprise, surprise. Have a look, because it is a little snapshot on what they have. In fact, we only hear about one Holocaust, like that's the only thing. But where did you say anything about other people's Holocaust? Where do you say anything about the genocide that's going on in Gaza and Palestine now? Or the genocide that is happening in Darfur, in Congo? Where do you mention it? Not a word. By the way, in terms of dignity and respect for humanity, please do not put yours as like the only thing that ever happened. No, it isn't. But your inhumanity is you only see your own. So the politics of where we sit now is a pure continuum from where it was before. And therefore, do not be surprised about Christopher Alder or George Floyd. The only difference is Rodney King. Somebody filmed it. Charles Wotton in Liverpool, chased and murdered by racists. The countless people who you never heard of, who lost their lives in slavery and colonialism and oppression.